and welcome to this interview with global consumer goods brand Reckitt, makers of household brands that we all know and love like Durex, Nurofen, Finish and Enfamil. Thanks for taking time out of your busy day to join us. My name's Natalie Pratt and I'm joined with Krzysztof Kwiatek, Enterprise Architect at Reckitt, and André Christ, CEO and founder of LeanIX. André will be asking Krzysztof about his EA journey at Reckitt and the future of Agile EA at the company. But before I hand it over to them, just a little bit of housekeeping for you. You're all muted and your cameras are switched off. If you have any questions during the session, you can add them to the Q&A and we'll keep those to the end. If we don't get to them, you will receive a copy of the questions and answers along with the recording and a follow-up email from me this Friday. But now I'm going to pass it over to the experts, André and Krzysztof. We'll give them about 35 minutes before opening the Q&A. So sit back, relax and enjoy. Over to you, André.
Yeah, thank you, Natalie, for the kind introduction to this interview, and especially Krzysztof for making this possible. So it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, André, for having me. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here as well. So welcome, everybody.
Yeah, great. Yeah, welcome from my side as well. Maybe, Krzysztof, you could start by introducing yourself and tell us a bit more about what you do at Reckitt.
Yeah, so I'm an enterprise architect in Reckitt for 2 years, but I'm in Reckitt for almost 12 years now. And so, yeah, I saw a lot on different positions. I was part of 2 big acquisitions, SSL, so Durex maker, Reckitt Johnson, and Enfamil producer. And I was also part of a really dangerous hacker attack, so there's lots of experience, yeah, which drives me to the EA position in Reckitt. As I said, EA team was formalized 2 years back. My manager John Dawes get a task from CIO to formalize the EA organization in Reckitt. There was a time in Reckitt where EA didn't exist. Yeah, so there was lots of challenges at the beginning. Yeah, so, but for now, we believe that our goal as the EA is to enable smart technologies which are forward-thinking based on the best quality data and contextualized. Yeah, so.
Yeah. Look, I mean, you mentioned some event in the company history, and I don't go really deep into the hacker attack in this interview here, but maybe you can tell us a bit more about the main challenges within the enterprise architecture practice, how it all started. So maybe you can take us a bit through the thought process there.
Yeah, so as I said, the first biggest challenge for the Reckitt was that this function didn't exist. Yeah, so you can imagine what could happen. Yeah, and why I was talking about this acquisitions and hacker attack. Yeah, you can imagine, yeah, how difficult was to even find out the source of truth of what kind of applications we've got, what is the priority, what is the priority for a recover process. Yeah, so the major challenge was that because of lack of the EA function, yeah, the business units create own portfolios, and these portfolios were not synchronized, and there was nobody who synchronized them and look forward. Yeah, so lots of solutions was the tactical solutions. Yeah, so the first challenge was to establish the function. Yeah, so start from scratch, from basics. Yeah, create a basic process like architecture review board, technical review board, start to gather information, start to sync people. Yeah, and start to understand what are the goals for Reckitt. Yeah, and how we can achieve these goals. doing the investments that business propose. Yeah. So as I said, first challenge, basic thing, formalize, find enterprise architects on the market, which is not also an easy task. Yeah, so formalize team, then start introduce some basic process. Look what you've got. Another challenge immediately was, okay, where is our source of truth? Based on what we'll make a decision on architecture review board, yeah, if it's a right investment or not from technology point of view. Yeah, so we start to build the portfolio. Of course, we start with Excel, but very quick we realize that we need some tools to help us, yeah, because process is of course first, yeah, but then if you've got like Reckitt 1700 active applications and services, it's unbelievable work to manage this kind of portfolio. Yeah, so the next challenge was that we were flooded by questions like, okay, what is the portfolio for sales department? What is the portfolio for marketing space? Yeah, and we were very busy of producing PowerPoints, yeah, and presentations, yeah, just and answering very basic questions, but very valid questions. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that, and I mean it reminds me a lot at some of the companies I've been fortunate to work with, some of the companies I have worked before. So how did you start solving those challenges? What were some of the big components you then have set up to tackle those challenges? Can you take us through that a bit?
Yeah, so as I said, we started with the process. We introduced the architecture review board where we start to gather information about the future investment, and we start to think about, okay, what will fit, what if it's aligned with our strategy, long-term view. Yeah. So this was one part. Yeah. Second part, of course, we start to seek for an opportunities. Yeah. How to achieve the business goals. Yeah. What kind of transformation needs to happen in Reckitt, yeah, to achieve this forward-thinking goals. Yeah. And of course, this is not a one-time job. I mean, process is evolving. Yeah, we have a lots of iteration of the process. Yeah, we started with very classic process, architecture review board, but we want to move forward, and we see that in this very rapidly changing world, yeah, the process needs to also adapt. Yeah, and we need to adapt to the new world. Yeah, so. We need to be also more agile, yeah. But as I said, process. Then we very quickly jump on tools, yeah, because I realized that I cannot survive on Excel. Yeah, I will spend all my days of analyzing Excel and adding another columns. Yeah, so we said, okay, we need to have some modern tools which help us to move forward. Yeah, and we start to think, okay, let's look for a market. Maybe we can build something internally. To be honest, I'm an ex-software engineer. Yes, so my first thought was, okay, let's build something very quickly. Yeah, but then I realized that probably I will spend next 2 years to deliver something which is already available on the market. That's why we started to look for a solution on the market. Yeah, and we start to talk with different companies.
Yeah.
And yeah, and as I said, when we start to look on LeanIX, we really like this tool because the concept of collaboration, federated model, yeah, very important for us also was the user experience, because we knew that the tool wouldn't be only for IT community. Yeah, if we want to achieve our goal, which is release us from the answering question about basic stuff, we need to have a tool which is very friendly and can help also business answer some questions. Yeah, so for us, user experience was really important.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm glad that you're bringing that up. And look, my background is also I worked as a software developer in the start of my career. So the thought of building a tool and coming up with that is clearly what I can relate to. what I can say today, roughly 100 people are working in our product department and just building the tools. So there's 100, so almost, I think we're now 80 software developers at LeanIX, continuing improving the product and making it even better. So I'm glad to hear that that you see some of the benefits as well. But I would like to go maybe one step back again and see what was like critical for you in meeting the demands of the business. So using such a tool, what were some of the things where you actually could help the business out in their processes? So I understood you had a couple of topics you solved with it.
Yeah, so as you can imagine, yeah, if you've got first lots of sources of truth, means Excels usually, yeah, it's really difficult to find an insights, yeah, to understand, yeah, what you've got, and of course, you know, there is a lack of the wider visibility, yeah, and we usually make some tactical decisions based on fragmented data, yeah. So we want to solve this, yeah. We don't want to make a decisions on assumptions, yeah. We want to be a data-driven company, yeah? So we want to have some facts. So of course, first you need to build some model that everybody follow, yeah. So business capability model, yeah. Before LeanIX, we didn't have any business capability model, which is official model, and everybody follow it, yeah. So this was a first step forward, yeah. Think about business capability, avoid investments in something which is already in place, yeah. Think about it, how much time you need to introduce new technology. Maybe it's much easier just to adapt whatever it is already there, yeah. So this kind of mindset changed, yeah. And as I said, instead of be a teacher on architecture review board and, you know, test projects, yeah, if it's good or bad, yeah, we start to think about if it's really smart to do this, if it's aligned with the strategy, if it's aligned with our forward thinking idea, yeah. So as I said, the business capability was the first step for us, yeah. Then of course the combined source of truth, yeah. So we remove all the external sources of information, and we start engage business, and we start train them on the platform itself. So I think that the one of the challenges that I want to say, I mean, maybe it's interesting for others, is that sometimes it's, as an EA, it's difficult to sell an idea that you need to invest in the tool, yeah? Because lots of people think about, okay, it's just a list of applications, lists of services, yeah. Why we need to invest in that, yeah? But this was a case in Reckitt, yeah. Everybody look on process mainly, yeah, and the tool was a second choice, yeah. And I said, okay, there is some limitations, yeah. We cannot move forward if you want to stay on lists, on SharePoint lists or Excels, yeah. So and we really look for opportunity where we can sponsor this kind of investment. And the funny thing was that the opportunity came from let's say classic IT SQRC world, yeah, because we are also as we are producers of baby milk and Nurofen, we are in some part very regulated business, yeah. And we find out that they suffer a lot because there's some problems with the compliance with the GXP procedures, yeah. One of the requirements for this department was that they have to manage their portfolio in a very specific way, very regulated way, yeah? And they try to do it on Excel, yeah. So they start to talk with us that they really need the help because there is a material risk, yeah. I said, okay, we are ready, yeah, we've got a tool for you, yeah. It's just waiting for a decision. So we use this opportunity to open the gate for data, yeah. They are really happy, by the way, yeah, and they are now managing the portfolio on LeanIX. But as I said, this was an opportunity that we chose, and the opportunity didn't come from innovation space, but it came from the classic space. So what I want to say is look for opportunities in the different parts of IT, yeah, because you never know, yeah, when there is a pain and you can help resolve one problem and then explore and expand the platform for different domains.
Yeah, and it sounds that the users today and the stakeholders of the tool are not only within IT, but also, of course, outside. If you talk about like audits, as you said before, can you give an idea how many users you actually today have in the solution, and maybe also if you have some of the roles where you would say like these are users or consumers of the data which you probably wouldn't have expected in the first place, maybe because that's always interesting to understand that it's today no longer just the enterprise architects, but there are consumers out there who actually benefit from the data. So maybe give us an idea of the quantity and some of the roles using it.
Yeah, so we've got around 500 active users on the platform.
Wow, yeah, that's a lot.
So it's a lot, yeah, and maybe not most of them, but a big part of these users are coming from the business itself. Yeah, technology now is everywhere. Yeah, so it's not only IT problem. Yeah, so it's everybody problem. And as I said, we were totally sure that the platform needs to be open for all employees in Reckitt. Yeah, so this is a common knowledge. IT ecosystem, portfolio, services, business capabilities should be a common knowledge in a company. Yeah, so instead of answering basic questions to people, okay, what kind of systems we've got for time and attendance capability, yeah? This should be answered in a platform. Yeah. So in the LeanIX, we've got the business owners, we've got technical owners, we've got quality owners, we've got BRMs, business relationship managers as well. Yeah. So the big community that we created around the platform. And as I said, I think this is exactly what you should do. Yeah. So you should build a community. And my experience is that the rollout of the tool, it is not an end of the story. Yeah, you need to have a regular meeting with the community. Yeah, you need to work with them. You need to listen them. Similar what we do with LeanIX. Yeah, so we've got also regular meeting where we talk about new features, new demand. We are doing the same on our side. Yeah, and one of the advice that I can give is. Usually people think about SaaS solutions, sort of software as a service solution that is self-driven. It's not like that. You need to build a product team, internal product team, who will take care about the product, and you need to have a strong professional services team on the vendor side. And this work very well because your product team will take care about the community. Yeah, they will talk with the community, they will listen their needs, yeah, and then we can then translate this to the demand and work with LeanIX what is needed, what is necessary to see. So yeah, this was a quite big achievement because we started implementation of LeanIX in August. We released the platform on October last year, and from this day we were able to train around 1,000 users. Yeah, there was a face-to-face session at the beginning. Then we also prepare some online training available in our learning management tool. Yeah, so it was quite a big achievement from my side. And as I said, 500 active users versus 1,000 trained users. I think it's a really good ratio.
That's I think a very good ratio. I think sometimes in software as a service we calculate that if you get to like 20% of the total population as active users, you already have like a very good achievement. So I think it's good and healthy to see that. Can you give an idea like how many like services or applications or products you onboarded? So a bit the dimension of how complex is the landscape. I think you mentioned that in the beginning, but as part of your onboarding, how did that go?
Yeah, we thought about the strategy. We discussed with different companies as well. Yeah, what is the best strategy? Because I had a source of information which tells me that okay, we've got around 1,700 applications, active applications. Yeah, and in fact, it was very close this number. Yeah, so we thought of, okay, what we should do, because when we look on the quality of this data was very poor. Yeah, I mean, the names of the owners was different. I mean, sometimes only last name, first name. Yeah, I mean, very basic problems. Yeah, then the application was mentioned twice under different name, and I said, okay, we can now spend 2 months cleaning this up on Excel, or maybe we should go straight to LeanIX, yeah, and start the cleanup on LeanIX. And I made this decision, yeah, with our colleagues here, that okay, let's do it in LeanIX. Let's start the cleanup in LeanIX, even if we know that there is a lots of gaps and mistakes, yeah, because we start to think, okay, yeah, LeanIX has a lots of really nice functions that can help us to be more efficient, yeah, like surveys and quality seal, yeah. So, and I think it was really good decision, yeah. At the beginning it was a little bit tough, yeah, because of course on every training people start challenge us, yeah, what is that, why this is missing, yeah. But it was good discussion because we engaged them, yeah. So our idea was to do not add them additional task, yeah, but engage them and say, yeah, you are the owner of this data, so work with us and take a look what we can achieve based on that, yeah, what kind of insights we can get, yeah, how the application landscape look like now, yeah, versus it was 2 years back, yeah, what kind of capabilities we get. And this is a beginning of the journey, yeah, because people see that if we got more and more good data, we can achieve more, yeah. And now an appetite is for lots of new things, yeah. So
yeah. And again, I think one of the things I hear from you is that keeping this engagement and fostering the engagement of the group and of the owners of the data was crucial. So I think that's a great proof for a much more modern approach to enterprise architecture. How do you think about that today? How have the demands of the business maybe changed, or what is like a new demand you now hear now that you've established the data in the solution and can start building more use cases on top of it?
Yeah, I mean, demand is only growing. Yes.
That's why we say you need to be ready for continuous transformation, right? So that's why we talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a continuous process, and as I said, more we've got, more demand we receive. Yeah, because we started with basic, as probably most of the companies, business capability, application portfolio. Yeah, we also have a technology risk management with ServiceNow. Yeah, connection with ServiceNow. So we use Technopedia. We build automatically heat maps. So it's great, but it's the IT. Now we are moving to the space of total cost of ownership, process management, yeah, so business transformation goals, yeah. So yeah, there's a lots of interesting things going on around LeanIX, and we see the opportunity to also expand the platform for new topics. Yeah, the SaaS intelligence, for example, which we talked about last week, it is really promising, yeah, because definitely people start to want to see, for example, total cost of ownership for business capability, or they want to analyze what is the spend, on-prem spend versus cloud. Yeah, I can tell you, yeah, that we already started the cloud transformation. Yeah? So we already made a decision that we'll move all our applications from on-prem data centers to public cloud. Yeah, and of course, once again, this open lots of opportunities. Yeah, what we want to do, how do we want to measure? Because yeah, I mean, I know that is obvious, but you need to measure yourself. Yeah, so if you want to do something, then think about what will be the benefit from it. Yeah, so it's always question what for you are doing this. So yeah, as I said, there's lots of interesting opportunities, but once again, fix your basics. Yeah, if I will, for example, start thinking about the TCO or the process management or transformation, or how to connect objectives with our portfolio without fixing the basic problem, and to be honest, the cleanup is happening even now. Yeah, so this is a long-term journey, yeah, to clean up the portfolio. But also you need to remember that you should focus on the important things. Yeah, so if it's really worth to look on the local solutions, which generate, I don't know, 100 GBP revenue. No, it's probably not really worth. But if you've got I don't know, 60 different applications under the same business capability, okay, maybe it's worth, because you waste the time of contract management, you waste the time of upgrading the systems. So always you should think about what is worth to do, what is important. I've got also one thought about our process. At the beginning, when we introduced the ARB process, we start to capture a lot of information. A lot. I don't know, we had probably 3 different forms in 3 different places where we capture lots of information. And then when we start to think about it, what exactly information gives us, based on what we make a decision, it was like 10% of these questions. The rest of them was nice to have. But this is the journey you will probably have usually, that first gather as much information as I need, and then realize that, okay, only 10-20% of information is really valid, and you should focus on it and should work on it, fill these gaps, and because this will give you the value.
I mean, you already made a certain segue into your understanding of an agile enterprise architecture or a modern enterprise architecture. If you would summarize that, what you think for our audience here is crucial when they start setting up their enterprise architecture today or are reviewing it, what would you say are the key things in a modern and agile enterprise architecture management?
So of course we started recently, let's say. So this is also advantage here, that there is no huge history with EA function in Reckitt. So we started with domain-oriented enterprise. So we've got application architect, we've got integration architect. But what we saw is that if you want to be agile, you need to switch from the domain-oriented organization to the service-oriented organization. So, for example, the process that we've got, we know that are a little bit too heavy. We've got more and more demands for a rapid implementation in marketing space. For example, they have some initiatives that need to be delivered in weeks, not months even now. So you cannot have a very heavy process for that. You need to think about how to help this kind of initiatives. Still, you have to have some guide rails, which EA say, okay, you can do whatever you want, but in these borders. So if you want to be aligned with the strategy, if it's a investment which drives us to deliver the business objectives, you need to do this and that. And what we want to release in the next couple of months is the agile process, which will be more self-certification process. So instead of discussing about the architecture on meetings, we want to release the pack with principles, implementable blueprints, patterns, which are available for all the solution architects and the project teams, and then they can choose whatever is necessary for the project. And then if they are aligned with all of this patterns, reference architectures, then they can be a self-certificate. So there is no need for any intervention in the project. And that's why we also want to use LeanIX, because LeanIX is a huge knowledge database for us as well. So it's not only business capability, but also, we are looking on processes. We are looking on different aspects of the IT ecosystem.
And Krzysztof, you mentioned in the beginning that for LeanIX, you think more in like product teams. You mentioned before you're on the shift of moving from a more classical domain to a service-oriented organization. To what degree is the concept of a product and product owners established in your organization today? The reason why I'm asking is we experience that a lot of organizations we work with have this as a big topic. How do they establish ownership about their applications and in the end about their products within the business itself? So it's not only like having application owners, but it's really like product owners, and in the best possible way you have that on the business side, so you can interact with them and engage with them on a level of understanding where do you want to drive this product and so on. So maybe give us an idea, how far are you on that journey? Is that a concept you're applying as well more broadly, and how far are you there?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely the concept that we want to follow. Yeah, the journey already started. You know, we are quite big company. Yeah? So you can imagine that we've got, there was a concept of 2-speed ITs. Yeah. So of course we've got back office systems like ERP, classic CRMs. Yeah. So it's a little bit different than, for example, e-commerce, yeah, which is more dynamic and where this concept of the product teams works very well. And we already have it. Yeah. So this is natural direction, and I see is a right, and it works. Yeah. So yeah.
No, great. I mean, if and first of all, thank you for sharing that journey with me here and with the audience. I felt that was a lot of great insights in how you actually brought this journey up from not having an enterprise architecture discipline in that sense before, and then getting to a very engaged audience, which already enabled use cases well beyond just the classical IT, but all the way from audit to having more meaningful conversations with the owners of applications, and in the future also products in the organization. So I found that very insightful. Looking a bit on the time and at Natalie, do we have any questions from the audience at that point, which we would like to address to Krzysztof, actually?
Yes, we do. Thank you, Krzysztof and André, for taking us through that journey. It was super insightful. So yeah, we do have a few questions coming in. I'll start with this one. Have you needed to extend LeanIX fact sheets with any custom attributes? If so, for what purpose? It's quite a detailed one, but maybe you can give a little bit of insight on that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I mean, the answer is we didn't customize fact sheet. Of course, we extended. Yeah, we've got lots of tags, lots of attributes. We group them in sections. Yeah. For example, I mentioned about this GXP portfolio, which is a specific because there is some regulations, there is some rules that we need to follow. Yeah. And this fact sheet has a specific section. Yeah, but it's not a customization. It's rather configuration. We to be honest, we want to avoid customization. I really scared when we say that we customize something, because it means that we'll have a problem in the future with maintaining this solution.
And by the way, Krzysztof, we even renamed the way of adopting the data model from customizing to configuring it. I think it makes a difference, right? So customizing is always connected to changing the code, to having an individual version and not being release ready for the next version of the software. So I think that's different if you look at it more from a perspective of, like you said, expanding or configuring it. So
yeah, only custom thing that we probably have is the KPI reports. Yeah, we were really keen to see all the reports that we want in LeanIX. Yeah, so we ask for some KPI reports. I know that IQVIA has a really nice reports that you can get from the shop. So probably this is a small customization that we've got in LeanIX. The rest of them is just configuration on LeanIX. Yeah.
Great. I hope that answers. question. Once again, we will be following up on the question in an email, but there are a couple of more. Let me just have a look through here. Here's one. So what was the biggest pitfall or mistake you faced on the journey, which you would advise other organizations to look out for? I think hopefully you can give a bit of insight on that.
Yeah, in terms of LeanIX, maybe start with this one, is that maybe it was not mistake, but the lesson learned. Yeah, we as I said, we start very aggressively. We said, okay, we'll add all the applications that we've got to LeanIX and we start the cleanup. Yeah, of course, we splitted the application per domain, but we start training with mixture of people. I mean, from business, from IT. Yeah, and we thought, okay, probably it's a good idea just to have these people on the one session and train them. And this was a mistake, yeah, because this was completely different perception of the tool. Business was very scared, to be honest, at the beginning. That okay, what is that? What will have? It's another task for us. Yeah, why IT? I'm not from IT. Yeah, there was a quite common statement. I'm not from IT. Why are you asking me to do something? Yeah. And we said, okay, we need to listen to these people. Yeah, so we start surveys. We start a lifetime polls during the sessions, and we realized that probably we need to have a separate session for IT community, which will be on a little bit different speed, a little bit different aspects of the tool, and business community. Yeah, when we train these people, then they will once again will be joining the whole LeanIX community, and they can easily talk about different things. But when you start think about who will use the LeanIX and probably target the session to the users, yeah. And once again, listen to the users. They will tell you everything, yeah. If they're even afraid of talking on the session, yeah, because we saw this, some of the people was very defensive. Yeah, they didn't be very active on the sessions, but when we released the polls, yeah, when we released the surveys, they put everything what they thought, and it was great. And we didn't afraid to receive 1 or 2 star after the training, because we based on that we learn and we improve. Yeah, so right now is a continuous improvement. Everywhere what you do, you need to think about is not one-time task. Yeah, it's a continuous improvement. Learn, improve again. Learn, improve again. Yeah.
Good, thank you for that piece of advice. And I think let's go with one last question before we close for the day. What tools did you use to present the contents of LeanIX to senior leadership or business? Did you export to Visio, PowerPoint, or did you just use the LeanIX diagrams, or LeanIX as the delivery platform?
Yeah, our goal is to utilize LeanIX as we can. Of course, there is some limitation, but for example, we've got a connection with Lucidchart, which works very well. Yeah, so if we want to have a very sophisticated diagrams, we use Lucidchart for that. Yeah, 80% of the information can be presented with this out-of-the-box reports. Yeah, we heavily use application landscape report. It's really powerful. Yeah, yeah, we use also matrix report. Yeah, so of course there is still, for example, areas that we need PowerPoint. Yeah, I will not hide this fact, yeah, because we don't have a business transformational module in LeanIX yet. We are looking on it, but for now, it's not for us easy to show the business objectives with the portfolio in LeanIX. Yeah, maybe it will change when we will decide to go for the next. For a BTM module, yeah, but for now this still needs to be in PowerPoint. But as I said, whatever we can, we will do in LeanIX, and so LeanIX and Lucid is probably the really good combination, and most of the diagrams and information can be presented there.
Good, thank you very much again. So for the other questions that have come in, we will be getting back to you in an email. So you will see an email from me in your inboxes by Friday this week, which will include the full recording as well, along with the answers to the questions that you've asked and we weren't able to get to today. I'll also share a bit more information on how you can arrange a deeper dive with Krzysztof. He's offered his time to connect with you if you're interested in going deeper, or one of our LeanIX experts. But in the meantime, I appreciate you joining today, and I hope you have a good rest of the week, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye. Thanks again,
Thank you very
Krzysztof.
much.
Thank you, Krzysztof.
Bye.
Thank you, Natalie.
Bye-bye.
Bye.